It always
Ron,
takes us a second, darling. Good
hi.
to see you. So, everybody, welcome to Relationship
Welcome.
Real Talk with Dr. Harmony and myself, Andre Parody. What we do is bring um, modern relationship struggles forward and give our inputs on both sides of. We've been around the block for a little while, both of us. We're in healthy relationship, both of us. We've done the mistakes, both of us, right? And we see what's happening in the world because we're both in the world of coaching. So we're here to like drip on you guys our knowledge, our advice, our opinions, I guess. But beyond that, we're trying to basically have people maybe rethink what they perceive as reality, what's possible, what's no longer, and really what the downfalls are. So, Dr. Harmony, why don't you introduce yourself to our lovely audience?
Well, thank you. And I think it's about observations, isn't it? Really, what works and what doesn't work,
Right.
and the observation of what is the intention, right? And so I think we're finding that people are getting married for very different reasons. Maybe the last 30, 40, 40s, pushing it 30, certainly years. It's all about status or symbols and, just not wanting to be lonely or something, but it's not
Right.
for the sanctity of marriage. And so, or the legacy of family,
Hello.
or, it's a lot of couples marry so that they just have that adventure together. I'm all about adventure. I know you are too. We're both race car drivers. We're
Yep.
all about winging it out there, aren't we? But, those observations of what works and doesn't work
Hmm.
when your intention is to have loving, long-term fulfilling relationships that don't just work for the one person. We hear that phrase, happy wife, happy life.
Ah.
But really, it's about a happy spouse, happy house. And when we have the happy spouse, happy house, we have children that are happy and a
Mhm.
legacy that can follow. So, it's just the observations. I don't think it's that difficult though, do you? I just don't think it's
Right. But there's so much like crap out there. There's so much false belief. There's so much like marriage is a trap for the women. It's enslavement of women. Children will ruin your life. Go girl, boss baby, independent, 50-50 is the way to go. And none of that works in my world. I've never seen it work. And
Mm-mm.
people are struggling with it should work on paper. It looks good, right? It should work. It should be better. And you understand it's chaos out there. It's maddening and everybody's confused or hurt. Women are lonely, men are lonely, women feel abandoned, guys don't been shamed to be masculine, so they're expected to be like nice guys and sweet and sensitive and talk like girls. That's not real, and then women don't like those guys anyway because they don't really make you feel safe. They're not masculine enough, so you put them in the friend zone. Everybody's suffering. So can we just get real here for a second and stop buying the bullshit of the culture, right? Of feminism, of men are toxic, and that patriarchy is the enemy. Like that, none of that is working, y'all. So again, if we're gonna get real, tell the truth, we need to freaking talk about it, tell the truth. And I'm telling you, like you and I have been doing this for a long time. None of that is freaking working. It's not working. So what works better? There's again a modern way to do what works best, right? We live in modern times, and so you have to be careful what you believe, buy into. We've all had bad experiences, but you can't let that taint your entire life and come up with suggestions or but I love when people say men are all, women are all, they're never, they're always. I'm like, no, that's you. You have a problem. So we have to clean that
But,
up. Go
but
ahead.
I want to really bring up this point because it goes perfectly into our topic, trust and emotional safety issues, which I know you covered briefly last week, but
Yep.
I just want to throw in that women's input. I got to have that girl voice.
Oh,
Thank you,
yep.
thank you. But social media, the advertisement, this is advertisement on crack. You had the 60s, the advent of advertisement, watch that sitcom or that series, Mad Men, brilliant.
Mm.
And so it was just like, watching how they are programming us into these absurd beliefs. And one of the absurd beliefs that is just dominating on social media, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, is like you said, boss babe, be independent, be alone. And trust me, a good man loves a wife and a woman that's independent and can take care of herself.
Yeah.
Also knows how to be interdependent, part of the family, part of the team, contributing to the whole, versus this is mine. And so I want to share this quick story because it really supports what we're talking about, trust and emotional safety issues. dear client, wonderful. They're also friends. And the wife was convinced that the husband is cheating. Convinced. And what really got her was the feed, her social media feed, and she kept sending to me and thank goodness, and to her husband. She's like, see, this is you. And we're like, wow, that's so confused. We're just confused. But the brainwashing, and it took months. I would say it's taken up to 6 to 9 months to get her. Finally, she came to her husband. She said, I think we need to go off social media. Woo, amen. We are just grateful. And the contrast, because she was like, I don't think it's telling me the truth. You think? Right. And so she was ready to throw away. I think they've been married 13, 15 years, and then they had 5 to 7 years of dating. So you're almost talking about 2 decades worth of dating. Of being together, being in a relationship. Right. He's my, and I'm just going to be frank, my husband and him go to the races. They're in very high masculine energy environments with tons of money and tons of women floating around, yada, yada, yada. It happens to, not once has my husband ever come back and said, oh, wow. And he would, right? Because that's the kind of relationship. Right. Here's a man that is just really full of integrity, but is being doubted and is being distrusted and is being emotionally castrated for something he didn't even think about.
Right. But the advice, you go online, the advice is always anti-male, oh, girl, you could do better, right? You deserve more, you deserve this. Because women complain about their husband and their boyfriends to other women, and the other women just, pile on. Like, well, if you're not happy, girl, find your own, and he's this and he's that. And so I always say, I'm going to sound very toxic right now, but ladies, the worst advice you get is from other women. Right? Period. They don't know anything about a man's paradigm. And so you want to know more about what's going on with a guy, probably ask yourself, ask another man, ask your father, ask your brother, ask a cousin, ask a male. You'll be closer to actually getting a sense of really what's going on, as opposed to the women. They don't know anything. They have the same kind of thinking and paranoid, and and you deserve everything. I have a client right now. She's married with 2 children, right, for like 16 years, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, and her best friend is, surprising enough, a coach, right? And she's complaining to her about her husband because he's not romantic enough, and all that stuff. And so guess what? By the way, single coach girlfriend of hers says, oh, girl, you deserve better, you need to dump him, and she got her convinced. Now she broke up her relationship, right? So I hate to say, but women give each other the worst advice, and there's actually also women are jealous of the women that have what they don't have, and will convince you that they're always better. So I'm just saying, I'm just reporting what I see, and that's not pretty. So ladies, stop asking social media and the women and the crazies on there who know nothing about your personal life and what that means and why he ask a man.
But I love what you said. Ask a man, ask your dad, ask a brother. Hey, how about ask your husband actually be quiet, put the duct tape on, and be quiet and listen to what he has to say. And we've talked about that a lot in our classes, the Queen's Garden, and your classes that you offer. Really just ask one question and be quiet. Count to 30, count to 100. I don't care what you have to do. Just be quiet, because at the end of the day, most women are coming into a relationship where trust is not broken the day you got married. It's not broken thereafter. It was broken way before that. And somewhere along the line, life taught us that being vulnerable is unsafe, which is the exact opposite that I teach in the Queen's Garden and you teach your women. Vulnerability is victory. Hello, that's a touchdown, right? Now, mind you, we also talk about standards. We also talk about boundaries. We also talk about how to choose a man that's worthy of having, a woman that is vulnerable and submissive. But this lack of emotional safety came with you into this relationship. And as I've shared before, I used to always say to my, behave oddly, shall we say, in the beginning of my relationship with my husband, Kevin, and he'd go, babe, that's not me. Like, babe, that's so not me. And it was just such a great reminder. And I think that really some of the best examples, and if you'll give me a little leeway, there are things that when women have gone through violence that even not overly recent, but quasi, probably in the last third of my relationship with Kevin, so about 8 years ago, he will jerk or move his hand, he'll be excited, or we'll be in an argument, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he'll go, ah, and I flinch. Yes. And I flinch. And one day I actually said to him, as I was preparing for this conversation, I said, well, how can I be really honest, right? I actually said to him, I said, why don't you just get it over with and hit me? Just hit me. And he was like,
baffled, flabbergasted.
Exactly your expression. He was just like, whoa, time out. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, and he was so astonished. He said, he was hurt. Now, here's the irony. He was so hurt. And he said, I'll never forget his voice. He goes, do you really think that I would hurt you like that? I mean, he was baffled.
Imagine, you think I'm going to beat you up. Like, it's like nothing to do with who I am. It's never been. Like, how could you? Like, how could you, right?
Right, but even that, so how did that one, and I'm so glad he finally asked that question, and really, he was vulnerable. He didn't put up a mask. He actually let that mask lower even more so, Andre, so that he could really share how hurtful my belief that my husband would actually hurt me, and he would not. And he hasn't for 24 years. And trust me, there's been many cray-cray moments that I'm quite confident I would have, tied me up and locked me up in a closet and left me there for a few days. Good fast would be really helpful, I'm sure. So, and it was like just learning that. And I can't think of a time that I've flinched since then. Now my brain goes, oh, he's just expressing himself. It's a different response now. But how many women do that? And when men shut down, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how men respond. And I used to be so upset. I'm like, oh my God, he's not talking to me. Now he's already articulated, I need time. I'm hot. I don't want to say something I'm going to regret. And I'm like, but babe, because I think he's going to abandon me, right?
Disappear.
And every single time he has to go, babe, I'm just in the next room. I'm not going anywhere, but you need to give me some space. And I need a minute. And I get that. But where did that come from? That wasn't my husband. That's all.
No, completely. Which is this topic today, right? It's about trauma, past traumas, attachment wounds, and prior relationship pain, and shaped expectations, and how we behave. And like you say, expect him to hit you because he raised his hand. Like, that's not him, right? So it's learned somewhere. Sometimes it's even ancestral. Like, women know that when men are big, when men throw their hands up, sometimes, or when men raise their voices, often afterwards they raise their hands, right? That's in your body. That's genetic. That's literally ancestral. Do you know what I mean? So just that boom burst of energy triggers that fear. That's nothing to do with him, right? So trauma response. So we're talking about trust and emotional safety issues, and relationships of both. We have past trauma, and then fear of rejection, abandonment, and or betrayal, which we all have, right? So we come together to really heal each other. If you really understand that, you're like way ahead of the game. It's not about making them act right, different, better, your way. That's not it. You can't make anybody act any other way than who they are. It's actually coming together and actually heal each other with the fact that, our wounds are in place. That's why we pull together. We trigger each other's wound, and we come together to heal them, as opposed to getting on the bandwagon and again trying to make somebody act differently. So
it's so funny because I think women, I don't know that men do this. I would guess, I'm guessing that they don't, but women get married and we think that all this stuff just disappears because we're so in love and it's this new relationship.
Love conquers all,
right? It's like, right. It just really love is an interesting topic. And so I think that my pastor was talking about this morning, and it was just really fascinating how love actually can be that the most powerful emotion that we'll ever have is love. And when we've been deeply, deeply in love, and that's why we can get deeply, deeply hurt.
Right.
And so in this human walk of this emotion of love, when love is perfect, it casts out all fear. And I've had those moments. I'm like, oh my God. And I get that it's also oxytocin, but don't take that away from me. Come on.
Yeah. No,
So, but then that fear comes in. And I think that that's super, super important, because that fear is from those past experiences. That fear is from social media. That fear is from all those rackets and stories that my girlfriends are putting.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff on me. Like, you can't trust him. And and I can be hindered by fear. I can be handcuffed by fear. I can even be hardened. We see this all the time with women. Hardened by fear. Women are actually, they have the big walls. They are closed off. They're not available. And worse, it's not just, they don't understand why they're not receiving the type of love that they want. They can't even receive it. They can't receive their man cutting their grass. They can't receive their man wanting to help them out, open the door for them, whatever. And then they can't give. They can't give appreciation. They can't give respect. They can't give a compliment. Because he's not perfect.
When he does it right. Yeah, when he does it right, I'll give him appreciation. When he does it right, I'll give him respect. When he does it right? That's conditional, and that's not how it works. You know what I mean? It's like,
I think we've said this before. Women treat their dogs better than they do men in general.
Yeah, no, a guy said it to me, like, I come home, my wife sees me, she goes, oh, it's you. And walks in the kitchen. He goes, the dog's happy to see me. I don't understand what happened. I come home, I work, I do everything right. I pay for everything. I come home every night. I don't cheat. What happened? Now, again, he's not understanding perspective of a female or a woman when she needs to feel safe, and the reassurance she needs to have constantly that he chooses her, he loves her, right? He picked her, he's appreciating her. Like we tend to go into life mode and we groove and we forget really to really appreciate each other. So she took that personally, and all of a sudden, like, even though he's not changing, and men will say this to me all the time, it makes me laugh. I'm like, he goes like, I married her, what else does she want? You know what I mean? Like, because she says, women will say stuff like, I don't think you love me. It's like, I married you, I did the big thing. Like, what else do you want? That everything else I'm taking care of, right? But it's not understanding a woman needs connection, needs conversation, which brings her feeling of safety, reassurance, right? Like, so there's my way and there's her way, and they're completely opposite. So the whole work for me is how do you meet in the middle, right? Like, how do you meet her in the middle? How do you meet him in the middle? Because you're not going to do the right way according to each of you. It's two different planets, literally, or two different galaxies, really, much more likely. So how do we meet somewhere in the middle? Because he wants to come home and relax and not talk. She wants to reconnect with him and talk because she hadn't seen him all day. How was your day? How was the meeting? Good, fine. One word answer. She's like, oh, he doesn't like me. He doesn't want to share his life with me, right? Because woman to woman, if you get a one word answer with a woman, you're in trouble, right? So we do this to you thinking, I'm just like, don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to leave the day behind. Stop bothering me, but she needs to connect. So his way, I understand, but it won't work in the dynamic, like, so what, a little flex there. And ladies understand that when you're trying to connect too fast, too much, too quick, when he's trying to defrag and chill and actually get recentered, right? When he comes home, it takes half hour for most of us, at least. You know what I mean? So I understand that a little bit, like, what he needs genetically, organically, instinctually, like, to give him how do we meet in the middle? How do we meet in the middle? That's all I teach. How do we meet in the middle? Like, you're not going to get there necessarily naturally. It doesn't work, but a lot of people do stop doing what they know doesn't work, but it doesn't necessarily get them to what works.
Right.
You have to learn this.
Well, and I think that the big word that's coming up for me is responsibility. Not just, for the past. So many women want it. I had a woman in my class, and she was just so mad at her ex. And I'm like, who had those babies? He didn't choose to have them. You had them on purpose, thinking that was going to make him put that ring on your finger. He didn't, and now you're mad. He didn't even lie about it. He didn't even pretend. But women, and that's a bad case scenario. I don't think that I hope the majority of women are not that way. But it's like, wow, you're so bitter and angry. And he was up front all along. I don't want kids and I don't want to get married. But yet you made that happen. And so, being responsible is so important, because when we're responsible, we know what not to do the next time in that next relationship. And the other thing that was really coming up, and I think it's really joyful, I think it's really super positive. You've said the story several times about men. They're like, well, I just got married. And there's little complaints, and it's almost like people the man and the woman just got in a groove. They just got in a rut. Right. They just got in a little something, the same old. Whereas really what this is an opportunity to explore, because you got the big stuff out of the way, right? You're married, you got a couple kids, the bills are being paid, we're all in the groove, we know what this is. Now there's this wonderful opportunity to learn how to communicate in such a way that works for each other. And one of the best examples that I have in my relationship is my husband is very untimely. And of course, in the beginning, I'm very, very timely, like very timely. And he's the exact opposite.
Yin yang. Nature.
Oh my gosh. So, like even our first 2 dates, he was 2 hours late each time. God kept me there, because clearly that was like, ooh, bad.
How rude. Irresponsible and selfish.
Yes. And so really, I did run those rackets. How self-centered. He doesn't think I'm important. He thinks everything else that he does is more blah, 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 blah. And really, I just really observed, and I'm like, he's just late. He's just late. The only time he's not late is when it's race day. I will have to say that's the only. So I do tease him about it. I do tease him. Other than that, he is late, and he will be late for his own funeral. I'm convinced of it. So, but what's really so neat about that is the turnaround. Once I realized that my husband was always going to be late, or he's always going to be distracted with talking to somebody or get involved in something, people go, oh my God, how did you homeschool 5 kids, have a business, and get your master's and your doctorate at the same time? Okay, first of all, I was way younger. There you go. But secondly, I managed my time within his time. And I always carried my books with me, always. Because I never knew when he was going to be late, or when he was going to be involved in a conversation. And I literally, people were like, so even my husband, I was like, oh, I got my master's. He's like,
I'm good.
When did you do that? And I go, babe, waiting on you.
That's a smart woman, right?
So it's in that taking responsibility. I'm with my husband. I want to be with my husband. I don't want to run a racket. I want us to have date nights. I don't want to be upset because he's late. Yeah. And I just manage the time within how he's going to be.
Really?
And it really made such a difference, because I'm taking that responsibility, but I opened up a venue for a different way of communicating. So I'm knocking out all this stuff that I need to do, such that when we are together, my mind's clear, because I've been knocking out all this stuff I need.
You're not mad, right? You got your work done. Now, how do women receive that story? Because I can hear all kinds of girl.
Well, I think those that are open-minded or have the capacity, they're like, oh, that you just made a win-win. Yes. Those that are stuck in winning, those that want to be right, they will say things like, oh, so you're just going to manage yourself around him. Okay, no, not really. I'm with my husband. I get to spend time with him. What does it matter if I'm studying for my master's or my doctorate in a car or somewhere versus at my desk at home? I mean, who cares? I mean, like, what do I care, right? Actually, the scenery is way better outside traveling with my husband. So,
Oh, good one. I get it. It's just, I could see all kinds of pushback on, if he really cared for you, if he respected you, he would. Now, by the way, in my world, one of my favorite things to teach, because we're not really aware of this, we all heard opposites attract, right? We all heard it's kind of cute. It's not cute. It's factual. In relationship, We only attract the exact opposite of us.
Mm.
And that's so get this. So I have a lot of work on this. Like, well, one person extroverted, the other one's introverted. In every relationship that work,
Right.
they have to have a polarity. They have to have like polarity, yin yang, right? So one's extroverted, one's introverted more, right? One likes to spend money, the one saves money more. One is on time, the one is late more,
Oh.
right? Like all of it. One is like adventurous, the other one's a homebody, right? Like we're different in every single freaking way, right? And then like that's the magnet, that's what pulls us together. That's the mystery of this creature. Completely out. Is anything more different to a man than a woman? And vice versa. That's the polarity. That's the right. That's the discovery of like, whoa, like they're so different. But after about a year or so, most of us get on each other's nerves because he needs to do like me, and he needs to be more this, and I'm watching more that, and I'm more and he's like, I need to stop complaining. I need to stop taking things personally. I need to stop putting meanings to things that I said or didn't say. I need to sort of stop being so emotional, right? So now we're trying to change the other as opposed to really embracing the reason why we came together in the first place. Right? That's the big part of the work. You can't change anybody. You could respectfully ask for adjustment to some point, but to think you're going to change somebody, like I said, by the way, there's a whole science to this, right? People that are in time as opposed to people that are not on time. It's not a masculine and feminine thing, it's temperamental. It's called people living in time, like in their bodies, and people living through time. But if you're in time person, just look at your own relationship. Your partner, if it's working, is exact opposite, living through time. I'm neurotically on time. My wife is not. Ever. Right? Now, I could make her wrong for this. I could, get angry for her, and I have. Now understanding that, right? So that's the juice between us. One of the layers of polarity, right? That's natural. And so I don't need to change her from that. I pick my battles. Some stuff is important, I'll insist, but the rest of it, I could just relax into it as opposed to take it all personal, because to me, being on time is a core value system. So if you're going to make me late, you're actually literally compromising my values and how I like the world to see me as I represent myself. You know what I mean? Well, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. You know what I mean? So
and I am very in time, and it's like, but I still think that, it's such a great example, being honest in regards to the whole thing. And so once we started having these time conversations, my husband would say this weird thing. He'd go, babe, I don't care if I get up 5 hours early. I plan to be on time. Everything's going to go wrong. And I'm like, sweetie pie, that's just like, I feel like I'm talking to a 6-year-old, right? And I am like, now I just kind of stand way away because I'm like, yeah, that's going to be ugly, And don't get up too early, babe. We don't have a lot of time for trauma, just stuff happens literally. And so I can either contribute to that by a negative attitude, or I could just jump in and be a partner about the whole thing. And it was just kind of funny to watch. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I was grateful. I know that's going to sound bad, but I'm like, oh, thank God that doesn't happen to me. I'd have a basket case. But on the flip side, the gift that he's given has been this sense of adventure and play that I would have never, ever had. The stories that we have and just the adventures that we have and the places we've been, because he's willing to take risk. He's willing to work outside of time. He's like, sure, babe, we can squeeze it in. I'm like, yeah, no, you just can't squeeze stuff into time. There's only so much of it. But I would have missed so much.
Well, again, this says, so part of the yin yang, right? So one's more spontaneous, the other one's more organized, right? One's adventurous, lives, you know what I mean? The other one is, wants everything planned and ahead of time kind of thing, right? So a person like you and I who are structured, are rigid and kind of stuff, really need to learn from somebody who's like, yeah, we'll get there. Relax. Look at you know what I mean? There's literally bringing each other a different slice of life, I want to call it, her understanding their gifts and their ways, right? As opposed to, getting it all done this way and it's got to be just like this. Like, can we just relax a little bit here? How about, this is like, let's not plan, see what happens today. What do you mean, don't have a plan? We don't have a plan, right? Well, no, like confidence is like we'll go and then we'll make our way, like a sense of adventure, sense of not
Sure.
knowing, spontaneity as opposed to structured, right? Again, but you understand the relationship that last. This is crazy. I've been doing this for years, like looking into this. It's completely opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And where people fail is that you're trying to change the person that they attracted that are so fantastically opposite them, and trying to make them act like them and value what they value. And this is how you kill the relationship, by the way.
Yes.
You kill the polarity when you're trying to make them like you. And I can tell you stories that are fascinating. Let me just throw one in real quick here because it's kind of fun. So I had a client in Florida, and so she's a lawyer. She works for her dad, so makes a lot of money, but has a lot of freedom because she works for her dad, right? And what she likes to do in life, that's part of my TED Talk, by the way. That story, it's a true story, right? Which she likes to do is she likes to travel. That's like living a best life. She travels, right? So, but she couldn't find a man. She was a little too masculine anyway. So she works with me. We kind of rearrange all this, calibrate, release, and then she finds herself a masculine man.
Ooh,
Do you
nice.
know what I mean? I know, beautiful. And so as they're getting to know each other, and I'm guiding her all through this, he's also a lawyer, so he's solid and secure, and makes money and all that jazz. And so a few weeks into this, she calls me in a panic. She goes, "We have a problem. I don't think it's gonna work." I go, "What do you mean? That guy? That guy's great." She goes, "No, not that." She goes, "I just found out that he doesn't travel. He's never been out of He's never been out of the United States. He's never been out of Florida." She goes, "We're completely incompatible. It's not going to work." And I literally laughed in her face. I go, "Honey, it's probably why it's going to work."
Right.
She goes, "That makes no sense. Like he doesn't, if what I value," I go, stop. Listen to a second, right? I go, imagine, the beautiful gift you could bring to his life.
Yes.
He's not travel. He doesn't know how to travel. He's not interested in traveling. He doesn't know anything about it, but you do. Imagine the beautiful gift for you to introduce him to the world that way. You introduce him to new culture, new foods, new place. Like you could invite him into your world and help him discover this entire beauty that he has no access to, like instinctively, naturally. Is like that's not what he, right? Imagine the gift of that, what you bring to his life. And on the other side, I promise you, on some level, you probably will, bring into your life the concept of, saving some money. Investing it for a future solid, as opposed to traveling to Europe 4 times a year.
Yes. Right.
You know what I mean? Like you bring something else to the value system and our temperament and what works for us, but we don't flex on each other. We compliment. We get to learn. We get to expand per each other's different, right? And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. By the way, that's exactly what happened. She was about to dump him because he doesn't travel. I'm like. Because people think compatibility is about having the same interests. You want the same values, but same interests, same temperament, absolutely not. Temperament has to be opposite in time, not in time, right? Extroverted, introverted, planning, spontaneous. That has to be opposite. They cannot be the same. They have to be opposite.
What I was thinking is that, and these we have in the earlier conversations with our clients in their classes, is standards are different from preferences. Standards are different and values are different from...
Values are important.
Yeah, values.
And
or
character.
From preferences or personalities.
Yeah.
My husband being late all the time is a personality. My husband being adventurous is a personality. And all these are preferences or personalities that have really shined in my life. I can look back and not once can I go, well, we should have never gone to Greece. Nobody does that, right? And there's actually one time and my husband teases me nicely about it. One time when I was like, that's it. No, we don't have time about, that. The one time. And I look back and I'm like, that was just silly. That was just foolish. It was a great opportunity and something would have been a great story to tell and share.
Yep.
And so I think going back to our topic, these are just great real life examples of, your client would have living in danger and afraid to be intimate and sharing and being locked into this would have denied her exactly what she truly desired, to be loved, to have a husband, to be able to be worthy, successful, yet cherished and protected by our husbands, And so when we really are vulnerable and we're willing to play, like we said, for happy house is happy spouses, right? When both of us are happy, when both of it's a win-win. When both of us are interdependent upon each other, this is when that light shines. This is when the opportunity for, I hate the words growth, and I'm so over the words growth and development.
Yeah.
There's a word in Greek, it's called metanoia. And metanoia is where your mind is actually transformed in such a way that you have a different relationship with God, yourself, and with others. I'm like, that's what we're talking about.
Drop the mic right there. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, no, so again, for me, I go right back to, instead of trying to change the other person and see everything that they get in your way about, or that they irritate you about, right? What are they bringing of value, right? Adventure or structure, right? Like, learning how to do something you do or you don't do naturally, right? It's fascinating. It's actually the magic. And so instead of making each other wrong, right? What are they bringing to my life that without him or her, I would get stuck in my ways and my whatever. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's just a way to look at it, right? You look at it with what are they bringing to me as opposed to what's frustrating about them. Now, that's what successful people do. I'm just saying.
It is.
I had a gentleman say to me, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but I had a gentleman say to me, he goes, they had an amicable divorce. It was almost done. And I go, what's the reason for the divorce? He goes, well, we realized we're complete polar opposites. I'm like,
good.
Well, duh, that's the whole point. But instead of actually, embracing the differences and working it out and, going with it and discovery that they made each other wrong, which is what a lot of people do. So, okay, I'm going to say it again. We're supposed to be completely freaking polar opposite. That's how it works. So don't fight it, embrace it, find ways to negotiate, talk about it, come in the middle, his way, her way, right? What are they teaching you that you don't have on your nervous system naturally? That's a gift, and vice versa. I'm just saying, that's what smart people do.
But it takes a lot of honesty, especially.
That's what smart people do.
What emotional safety, isn't the absence of conflict. I think that's really important for people to know. It is really, and there's so many really good thoughts, memes out there, and I didn't capture one, but basically what's most important as parents raising our children is showing them, not teaching them, not telling them, showing them in relationship, in your case with mom, in my case with dad, how to manage conflict, how to be. And I think that I can be honest and go, the most damaging thing that I did in my relationship with Kevin is my mouth, right? So this is why I have the duct tape joke. Literally I have a sign on my mirror to remind me every day. It says, silence is golden, duct tape is silver. Amen. Like just, and I'll be like, bring out the, I want duct tape bracelets, right? I just want to be able to wear it and just be reminded. So, and I'm much better, right? I mean, not 100, let's just say 75% better. But there's those moments, at least now I know to be quiet. And that's super hard, right? It's so super hard. And I just want to emotionally vomit. And we as women, and this comes from the feminist movement, and we see this in all the memes, say what you got to say, express yourself, get it out there.
Be you.
Be you. And you're like, oh, yeah, you right now doesn't look good, just let you know. Yeah. And so one of the things that I did, right, just saying, one of the things that I did, that was very damaging, and I can still see the trickle-down effect to this day, is using the divorce word. And right. And so I did this, but the times I did, I thought as a woman, foolishly, that this was like, oh, I'll get his attention, right? He'll start to listen. He'll man up. Oh, whatever was going on at the time. I don't even remember. All I remember is that I did this, right? I don't remember why. Right. And so I was like, if you don't do this, I'm going to divorce you. If you don't do this, if this doesn't change, I'm going to divorce you. And the third time I said it, I think it was about, I want to say 6 years ago. And I do remember it was January 4th. It was, and we were, the days. It was a horrible day. We're just sitting in our little living room and, in paradise. We were in Costa Rica, so we're this perfect environment, and we are so depressed and sad because we're just at this point where we don't know what else. No, so it had to be longer than 5 or 6 years. But anyways, we were so upset because we didn't feel like we had any more tools, right? We were just,
Right. The end.
and he said to me, and I'll never forget, he goes, I just want you to know how painful when you say that to me. And it wasn't that he was crying, it was just the way he said it and the sheer vulnerability. And he goes, I just want you to know and to acknowledge that I have never said that to you. And I never will. I just wanted to be a roach and climb it up. Like, I mean, I didn't even want to be a kitty cat, right? I just wanted to be like, and there's like, be able to scurry away, right? And I was just, and I've never since then said it or imply it, but I can see every blue moon, we'll be in conflict. And he's almost like, are you going to do that? Just little nuances or something.
Yeah.
And it really pains me because it's like, gosh, I am really committed, but because I ran my mouth, right? That's because, and we have to remember, word is all we have. In the beginning was word was God, and God was word. And so what are we creating? What did I create? I created an environment in which my husband, even though he knows better, may think on occasion when it's rough that I would leave him. And that's not cool at all. And so I just really wanted to share that, that's not providing emotional safety. That's not creating an environment and for us to be vulnerable. That's, you see what I'm saying? The consequences. Yeah. And so we have talked about it at length, but it just, and that's where that word love, being hindered by fear, handcuffed by fear, hardened by fear. And so learning how to love, learning how to be lovable, learning how to be loving. It's just, I think being able to set aside our past in responsibility and being honest about what it is that we're actually, how we're contributing to that or not dealing with it, and how that is showing up in the current relationship or marriage. I think that that's just the key. And without that, there's just going to be all these hidden, unknown conversations.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? And again, that's what I say, successful people, I call them smart people, but people who succeed in relationships do this, right? They have each other's back. They want the other one to win. Like that's the other one wants me to win. And that changed the energy completely. So it's supposed to be combative and trying to win and trying to make them act right. We go into, okay, how do we get here? And I didn't realize that hurt you. I realized I forgot that was a trigger on you, right? And then we get to either, talk about it, often, apologizing because I didn't realize, because I don't have the triggers that you have, right? So, and I forget, so then I hurt your feelings, okay, right? Can be able to patch it up. And we said it earlier, in my world, people think when relationships are easy and good, this is like the good, this is how, if it's not easy and fun, right, it's the wrong person. Absolutely not, because what we discovered is in a conflict resolution, where there's troubles, which if you're normal, obviously you care, there'll be hurt feelings and troubles and triggers, right? But it's in a conflict resolution, being like adults, right, taking responsibilities and having each other's back, that in every conflict, every conflict goes, we get tighter. Conflict resolution is actually how we actually create safety for each other and know the other one's not going anywhere, because they're fair, right? And we have each other's back, not trying to. So it's actually in the conflict resolution that we get bonded closer and closer and closer and feel safer, and we get chilled and stop imagining these things that we keep imagining that are nothing to do with reality, our triggers, right? So that's the magic, and that's what I call healing each other. But you got to be grown-ups, you got to be responsible. And again, all it takes is having each other's back primarily, and have the conversation appropriate to fix the conflicts in order for us to get tighter. That's it. But it's not necessarily natural for most of us. You have to learn this, which is part of the work. We can do this all day long.
Right. And great reminder, and we've said this before again and again, over and over, grace and forgiveness. Just lending grace to Kevin, and it's not even forgiveness. It sounds like I'm doting or I'm doing something like I'm some king. Yeah, but just the grace to be human and to explore his humanness and his masculinity, even in all the imperfection, and still just loving him and embracing him, not withholding, not in always appreciating and respecting. That is, first of all, it's just such a gift, and it's just the how I've been honored and appreciated. It's almost like I'm doing it for myself. I don't know how to explain it. It just is so yummy and so juicy and just so amazing. And we call it super glue. Like you were saying, it's just this, everybody's like, oh, how'd you do it? They think it's the adventure and the trips. And don't get me wrong, that was fun.
Sure.
But it was in the conflict that the super glue and the learning who we are. If you can't get along when you're sailing Greece or racing a car, then you shouldn't be together. That's easy. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
face it. Let's face it.
Right. So.
All right, my darling, we could do this all day long. Good stuff. Appreciate you, your expertise and your knowledge and your understanding, because you were on the other side for a long time, and now you're on this side. So ladies, listen, who perfect to listen to is a woman who's been through it and, kind of learn what works better for herself, for her husband, for her marriage. Right? Again, that's what healthy people do, right? They kind of, it's not about you, it's about us. How do you do us? How do you get to us? How do we get to solve us? How do we repair us when the wheels come off, right?
Amen.
That's the magic. That's so simple. And understanding that us, yin yang, completely opposite, makes things very challenging. I get it. That's the point.
That is.
That's the glue. That's the super glue through all of that negotiating, talking, figuring out. So, my God, another good one.
2 more weeks. We'll be back.
We'll be back. So, you people will put the notes underneath this recording about how to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of me. We're all about empowering people. Some of these tools, we don't have naturally, right? What we tend to do naturally is more destructive than helpful. So if you want to come get some information, some tools, right? We have offers all over the place. And if nothing else, just come back in 2 weeks and let us drip on you a little bit from our perspective, knowledge, and ultimately we're here to help and alleviate the confusion and pain in relationship with especially men and women.
Yes.
Ta-da.
Amen.
With that, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, darling.
All right. Ciao.
Bye. Have a good one.